Hello, Fox! For today's video, we're going to be serious. Let's transform in 3, 2, 1. Hi, Madam Microbes. Your bacteria, archaea, algae, protozoa, and virus teacher. I want to show you something. Can you see anything? That's microorganism. We can see it with our naked eyes, but they're doing something. They are one of the reasons of what is happening in the world around us. There is bacteria, archaea, algae, protozoa, and virus. I will give you examples. Did you know that companies produces blue jeans are turning to microbiology to minimize the toxic waste and to have cheap cost?
Indigo chemical synthesis of indigo requires a high pH and produces waste that explodes in contact with air. However, a California biotechnology company, Gunds, has developed a method to produce indigo by using bacteria. Researchers identified a gene from a soil bacterium, PSEUDOMONAS PUTIDA, for conversion of the bacterial byproduct indole to indigo. This gene was put into Escherichia coli bacteria, which then turned blue. Bioplastic microbes can even make plastic zippers and packaging. Material for the genes. Over 25 bacteria make polyhydroxyalconoate inclusion granules as a food reserve. PHAs are similar to common plastics, and because they are made by bacteria, they are also readily degraded by many bacteria. PHAs could provide a biodegradable alternative to conventional plastic, which is made by petroleum.
Let's move with our second example. Did you know that why your armpit is smelly? Follow me. Let's start. Put your hands upward. Put it on your arm. And then, put it upward again. And then, put it near your nose. Bango-bango. So, I will tell you about the smelly armpit.
According to NPR organizations of researchers, the human armpit has a lot to offer of bacteria. It's moist, it's warm, and it's usually dark. But when the bacteria show up, they can make us stink. That is because when some kinds of bacteria encounter sweat, they produce smelly compounds, transforming the armpit from a neutral oasis to the mothership of body odor. And one group of bacteria is to blame for the stink. The researchers took bacteria commonly found in the armpit and added an odorless molecules found in human sweat. These odorless molecules come out from the underarm. They interact with the active microbiota and they are broken down inside the bacteria. When the bacteria break down the sweat, they form products called thioalcohols, which have scent comparable to sulfur, onions, or meat. The thioalcohol molecules evaporate from the underarm, which is what makes the armpit smelly. They measured how much thioalcohols each bacteria species produced. In the end, they could point to the Staphylococcus hominis as one of the worst offenders. That is why deodorants fight body odor, but most deodorants block sweat glands or kill off underarm bacteria. Blocking the sweat glands sometimes lead to irritated or swollen skin.
And the next one, I know you will love it. Let's talk about your other half. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about food. But wait, we're not going to eat them because they are spoiled food. Not like this, but this.
Food spoilage is a disagreeable change or departure from the food's normal state. Such a change can be detected with the senses of smell, taste, touch, or vision. Changes occurring in food depend upon the composition of food and the microorganisms present in it and result from chemical reaction relating to the metabolic activities of microorganisms as they grow in the food. There are types of spoilage. Various physical, chemical, and biological factors play contributing roles in spoilage. For instance, microorganisms that break down fats grow in sweet butter and cause a type of spoilage called rancidity.
Are you amazed? So for our last example, we're going to where we should end. Composting.
In the process of composting, microorganisms break down organic matter and produce carbon dioxide, water, heat, and humus, the relatively stable organic end product. Initial decomposition is carried out by mesophilic microorganisms, which rapidly break down the soluble, readily degradable compounds. The heat they produce causes the compost temperature to rapidly rise. Bacteria, actinomycetes, fungi, protozoa are present during composting. Bacteria are responsible for the most of the decomposition and heat generation in compost because as the compost heats up above 40 degrees Celsius, thermophilic bacteria takes over. Moreover, the characteristic earthy smell of soil is caused by actinomycetes, organisms that resemble fungi but actually are filamentous bacteria. Fungi include molds and yeast, and collectively they are responsible for the decomposition of many complex plant polymers in soil and compost. In compost, fungi are important because they break down tough debris, enabling bacteria to continue the decomposition process once most of the cellulose has been exhausted. They spread and grow vigorously by producing many cells and filaments, and they can attack organic residue that are too dry, acidic, or low in nitrogen for bacterial decomposition. And lastly, protozoa are one-celled microscopic animals. They are found in water droplets in compost but play a relatively minor role in the composition. Protozoa obtain their food from organic matter in the same way as bacteria do, but also act as secondary consumers, ingesting bacteria and fungi.
That's all for today. I hope you learned something. I hope we meet soon. That's all, microorganisms. Did you know that companies manufacture... Let's talk about food. But not the we're not going to go back of Warwick way. I hope you learned microorganism. Go. Hello mga damak! So for today's video, we're going to be serious. Let's transform in 3, 2, 1.
It's the motherfucking Eagle.